So before I talk to you guys about the subject, I owe you guys a little bit of an apology on behalf of the Dragon Ball community in regards to the evil angel discussions that have been going around. As you've been seeing over the last few days, many Dragon Ball YouTubers, including myself, combined have produced millions of views worth of talking about this particular subject. I understand it's an oversaturated discussion, but I found this interesting article online that actually has some interesting points that I want to hear your thoughts on it, guys. So for the final time, I'm never going to talk about this subject until we get pure confirmation about the angels being evil or not. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. So I'm going to discuss two theories here written by Jane Flowers, and she was talking about two theories in regards to why the Daishinkan or the Grand Priest allowed the angels to actually stay alive and not perish when the universes get erased. So let's talk about this. So long story short, without paraphrasing every single thing, what Jane is getting at with her first theory is that she believes that the Grand Priest is linked to all of the angels, as, you know, it's pretty much implied that he's the father of all the angels. He's definitely the father of Whis and Vados. So if it's implied that the Grand Priest is the father of all of the angels, her theory is that the angels' powers are connected to the Grand Priest. So if the angels were to die off, that would limit the Grand Priest's power. And I think if you want to interpret this even farther, we can take this a notch into going to what the Grand Priest's scheme is. Does the Grand Priest want to wipe out the remaining universes in the Tournament of Power? Does he want to eventually overthrow Zeno himself? It would make sense that if he wants to keep them alive, he wouldn't want them to die if he is linked to their power, so that he could be as strong as he possibly can. And Jane uses an example from Harry Potter where she compares Voldemort to the Grand Priest and saying how Voldemort divided all of his souls into an object referred to as the Horcrux. I'm no aficionado when it comes to Harry Potter, guys, so if I'm mispronouncing it or if I'm not accurately stating exactly how it works, my apologies for that. I'm not familiar with the series, but the main point is that she feels that his soul is connected to the angels in a way, and that would be a link. And her other theory that I think makes a lot of sense, even more so than the first one, would have to be the fact that the angels, instead of being linked to the Grand Priest, they come from their own universe. And I think this is a more open-ended topic, but in general, her theory is that the angels just existed from another universe and were just put in all of these multiversal universes. Oh, fuck, man. What a big-ass fucking burp. You see, guys, you want to get something out of this, guys? You see, this is an example of not editing a particular scene. I edit my videos all the time. I always cut stuff out, but sometimes there's shit like that that just gets in the way. You're in the middle of making a point and then a fucking burp just comes out of the way and just snaps you straight out of the conversation. And this is just a small sample size for those of you who are not familiar with what YouTubers go through. We do this type of stuff all the time and we have to completely repeat all of our sentences. But for this one time, I wanted you guys to experience what it's like to not edit one scene so you can hear that burp. So going back to what I was saying, guys, the point she's getting at is that the angels exist outside of the universe and they're just assigned to the gods of destruction, and obviously the Supreme Kais are connected to the gods of destruction and they're pretty much sent to serve the universe. And what Geekdom was implying in the video we did earlier this week, the implication is that the Grand Priest is trying to actually free them from actually serving the gods of destruction, so that way the angels can be free. So if the gods of destruction all die out along with the Supreme Kais, the angels would be free to roam the remaining universes or whatever's left, and they can have their own free will. And I added a little bit more of that to what Jane was adding at, but I do think that theory of the angels not existing in the universe actually makes a lot more sense. And we really need to know more about the whole creationism of Dragon Ball Super, because what came before everything? There kind of has to be more going into what was the first part of the universe. Does it follow a Big Bang Theory? Did the Grand Priest make the universe? Did Zeno make the universe? Obviously not Zeno, because Zeno doesn't have an idea of how the universe actually works. So I think Dragon Ball Super has to go more into that, but I think this gives the show more potential to have a more divisive plot when it comes to the actual god hierarchy, even though the Tournament of Power, as I said, is going to be the limit as to what the show can do for the characters. I do think they can switch up the topic and make the angels potential villains in the future. future, along with the Grand Priest themselves. So, as far as these theories go, I would have to say that they're simply inconclusive because we have to find more information going forward, but I definitely do think conceptually they do have some substance to stand on. And in the comment section below, let me know what theory you believe makes more sense. Do you think the angels are linked to the Grand Priest, or do you believe that they came from outside of the universe on some own will? And to my honest point, I think that them coming outside of the universe makes more sense. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I am Quaman, also known as Detective Q, and I am signing out. And enough with this conversation, guys.